Hi everyone, so this is the last time I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation 1. We are going to finish the PlayStation 1 collection. I've already talked 11 times, so this is going to be the 12th episode with the final games. It's going to be a longer one, there's going to be more games. So, let's start with the first one, which is The Crow 3D Fighting with a Vengeance. It's actually called The Crow City of Angels. So there is the legendary movie, The Crow, which I think it's gonna get like a remake soon, or it's like coming out with one of the Skarsgårds as the main character. But yeah, basically it's like a 3D brawler. There are some similarities with the movie. I think it's kind of sort of based on the Crow movies, but to be honest, not a big surprise. It's not especially a really good game. I don't really understand like why it's like Spiel, then Kino hit, so it's in German, but it has the English one. And then if we check out, it's in like multiple languages, but it only has the English rating from BBFC. So I don't know. It's, as you can see, it's like a 3D brawler. People are shooting at you, and you are shooting at ladies. Weird dolls with boobs and hair. I don't know how faithful it is to the movie, but it's actually quite a rare game. It says German version, but the game is actually in English, so there is no difference in that with the English version, as far as I know. Yeah, it also has the manual, which is just, yeah, it has like Spider Monkey and drugs and junk food. So this is actually like a really serious game, for an adult game for the PlayStation 1. And of course, it's not really good. It's very clunky, hard to hit the enemies, hard to do the, 3D fighting with the vengeance. So I wouldn't really recommend it, especially that it is quite an expensive game now. It got up in price probably because it's a licensed property, and people are like, oh, there is a Crow video game, so let's buy it. And then, yeah, it's not really good. Made by Acclaim. Sadly, that company is defunct now. Although I've read in the news recently, like gaming news, that the company Acclaim is coming back. So I guess that's something. Next up is another game that's just seriously destroyed by South Peak Games. This is Flintstones Bedrock Bowling. Yeah, Yabba Dabba Doo TM. Bowling will never be the same again. I mean, it looks awful. It's got like, as far as I know, it has like platforming stuff, and it's a pretty unknown PlayStation game. Plus, it's a really late release. It was released in 2000, so by that time the PlayStation 2 was almost out. Yeah, it's not great, and it has multiplayer stuff. You can play it with your friends, and it's like this wacky arcade bowling. So yeah, if it's something that you are interested in, I don't know what's wrong with you. But yeah, the game itself is probably like something that's really average and something that's really very forgettable. And next up is the X-Files game. So there are some, TV show video games, and this one is also like that. I don't know. Can I remove this? No, I'm not gonna remove the sticker. It was 699. I think this is Deutsche Mark. So yeah, back in the day they didn't have euros. Made by Fox Interactive. It is actually something that's kinda cool. Basically like a unique episode of the TV series that's made for the PS1, which, I would consider pretty cool. So there are live action stuff, and it's basically a point and click game as far as I know. And it is, since it has a lot of FMVs, it has 4 different colors discs. I think this is the German version, but As far as I know, the game is playable in English as well. It has a bunch of different discs, and you can swap them, but it's because of the live action scenes. So basically, it is X-Files episode. It's like a mystical, kind of horror-y science fiction TV show from the 90s that is still pretty popular, I think. I've seen the first, I think, probably 2 seasons, and as a kid, it was super scary. I have no idea why my parents watched it or why I watched it with them. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see Scully and Mulder in like a live action video gamey form. Although I think the best version of this one, since it is like a investigative game, is the PC version. Next up is Theme Hospital, which Bullfrog Entertainment made it. It's a good game. It's like a hospital management simulator kind of deal. I haven't played it. It's in a pretty rough shape. I don't have much else to say, but the theme series is still going on. The theme games are made by Sega, I think, right now, or at least the successor to that series. That is the 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Museum series. So that's where these games basically live on. Next up is a sports game. I know it's like boring time. This is football. This is basically the licensed version of the Champions League and whatnot. So back in the day, Sony, well, actually not for a short time actually. So Sony was the one, and they were making licensed football and a bunch of sports games. They stopped around the time of the PlayStation 2 with the football stuff. So they made This Is Football, that was their series. And I think there is 2 This Is Football games on the PlayStation 1. And then from 2001, I think they made at least 4 or 5 This Is Football games. I think 2001, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's, as far as I know, there is like 4 of them that they made for the PS2, and they are fully licensed. They are pretty good. They are different from FIFA, so yeah, the PS1 version is probably not really that enjoyable, or it's probably really clunky. True emotion, raw energy. But yeah, This Is Football is a cool series, especially that it has the Champions League license, which EA with the FIFA series didn't have for a really, really long time. And of course, these are exclusive for the PlayStation. So yeah, because Sony made them and Sony published them, and they stopped because FIFA and PES, that was just too big of a rivalry for them. And then they didn't really do that many upgrades, but I will talk about that on the PS2 versions. So, back in the day, Toka was a pretty big game series on the PlayStation. I remember I always saw these games on like store shelves for the PS1, and this is one that I specifically bought because I have a nostalgia for just seeing the game everywhere. And Codemasters was back in the day a really big deal. They made the Colin McRae Rally series for a really long time, and basically they were probably the best rally games at that time on the store shelves. So Toka is more of a touring car, so it's more of like going on the tracks and simultaneous racing and split screen racing and bunch of different licensed cars. So these are pretty in depth and also really detailed games with a lot of cars. And yeah, like Codemasters was a big deal back in the day, and you can see there is a Codemasters booklet for that. Nothing gets closer. So there is the Toka series, there is the No Fear downhill mountain biking. I never even heard of those. Music 2000, that's pretty cool. That's like a music making tool kind of deal. You can make your own music. I played I think it was called MTV Music Generator, but that was also made by Codemasters back in the day. There is Micromaniacs. These are like tiny cars, go around on tracks. There is of course Colin McRae Rally. Yeah, they made a bunch of snooker games. Okay. Prince Nazim and Mike Tyson boxing. Okay, and then there is LMA Manager, which was basically, it was a pretty big deal in a way in Europe. That was like a console football manager type of game before Football Manager, and they were rivals to the Championship Manager series, but they had like detailed like 3D matchy engines, and it was really cool. And I played it on the PS2, so I will talk about it later when I get to talk about the PS2. And yeah, this is the catalog. But going back to Toka, yeah, nice and colorful. Well, not really colorful manual. Oh wow, you can win a free color TV. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, there is a lot of different game modes, and you can see that they have just a ton of licensed cars. There is a lot of like setups there, and it actually supports the Negicon, I think. Yeah, so it uses the Negicon from Namco, which is also a pretty good like a analog controller. But I think yeah, it also supports like an example of like a Mad Catz wheel, but it supports a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, this is pretty detailed and in-depth simulation game. And if there is a big classic PlayStation series, you can argue that, there is the Resident Evil, there is Silent Hill, there is a bunch of different ones. But I would argue that Tomb Raider is also one that, made PlayStation basically. These are like fantastic adventure games, starting with the first one, made by Core and Eidos at the time, and Core stayed here. And these are the pretty good ones. I don't have the third one. I only have the first, the second, and the third one. But yeah, Lara Croft becoming a sex icon. Lara Croft is like one of the all-time favorite and well-known video game character. There is the movies. There is all the other games. I don't really have. Wow, somebody just speed running this game. Look at that. Wow, I didn't know it's in there. Let's see what's. Wow. So he has 20. Okay. He even had his times written down, and it's probably like codes or something. Let me see. No, it's like. Okay, that's pretty in depth. I guess somebody had a lot of time on their hands. But as you can see, this is the weird double case. If I can open it. Yeah, I did open it. So, and this is also the English version. Can I get the manual out? Yes, I can. And yeah, it's like a normal one. Normal little manual in multiple languages. So yeah, Tomb Raider is a pretty big series still. And it was, I think it just got sold off along with the studio that's making them, Crystal Dynamics. Hopefully we can see some new Tomb Raider AAA titles soon. They just released recently the classic ones, so there is hope for maybe a new game soon. And the next one is 007 Der Morgen stirbt nie. I think this is like Tomorrow Never Dies, something like this. It is a James Bond game. So back in the day, again, it's a bit of a story time. James Bond games became extremely popular thanks to the GoldenEye 007 game on the N64. So their company, Rare, wanted to continue the series, but they couldn't. They didn't want to. They make Perfect Dark, which started out as a James Bond game, and then the license got sold, or EA got the license to make the games, and they were making it for like 5 or 6 years. So I think their last PS was in the PS2, the James Bond games. So we will talk about it later because I have all the other ones on the PS2 and PS3. This looks pretty fun. It looks kind of like an adventure game. So you have skiing, you have shooting, you have other type of shooting and driving. So this looks like a complete James Bond sort of experience. Yeah, it's an action game that's in a third person. Although it's interesting that they didn't really stayed with this as the like first person stuff, but yeah, it's probably pretty good. Something that I definitely know it's really good, it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. This is, of course, it's the German version, because sometimes we can have just the German versions. And this is actually the last PlayStation 1 game in the series. I played a lot of 3 on the PlayStation 2, so I don't really have a lot to say about it other than, yeah, these are the good Tony Hawk games back in the day, and they are bringing them back, so there is gonna be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remaster, remake, re-release soonish this summer, and that's pretty cool. And yeah, just a great classic series. I kind of like pinball games, and through pinball, TP, whatever, it's a pretty good one. You can see like detailed 3D classic tables. There are 2D and 3D levels, and yeah, this is a pretty good pinball simulator. Again, the game is not in a great shape. Ocean made it. It's a quality company to make games. So yeah, that's pretty good. There are some games that just have crazy box art, and Tunnel B1, yeah, it is a really awesome looking background, I would say, or cover, I would say. This is like a first person shooter as far as I know. There's tons of different weapons. It's kind of like a Doom game. It has all the different languages, and something I really like about this, it's like, yeah, thick manual with color. I mean, yeah, yellow and black is a color, so that's cool. But the disc itself looks really awesome. It's like warning signs, it's all glossy and stuff. And as far as I can see, yeah, it has smudges and scratches, but it's playing fine. Something that is, this is like a really like forgotten early release, I think, because it doesn't have the PlayStation black border, and yeah, it's a 1996 game, so this has to be like really close to launch, right? So if I check the number, it's 322. Yeah, that's a pretty early PlayStation 1 release. Something that is also a really early release, but it's published by Sony. Actually, it's Warhawk. So this one is pretty cool. I think they wanted to make like an Ace Combat sort of deal, even before Ace Combat or around the same time, and yeah, it looks really good. It is also, I think it's either a launch title or like a launch window title, because yeah, you can see like the license says 1995. It's an air combat game, and this is actually a launch copy, so it has the really cool disc art. You can see it says Warhawk over there, but also like a really thick manual with, well, not really a lot of details. It's more like the just multiple languages. And yeah, it has the PlayStation 3 game, I think that's like a sequel or like a spiritual sequel. And then there is Starhawk, that was like a completely new story, and also online play. So yeah, Warhawk basically became an online game after this one on the PlayStation 3. So something that I think it's a big system seller for the PlayStation 1, and also it has like crazy amazing design and just a fantastic racing game series. It's a Wipeout. I don't have the first one, sadly, but I have 2097, which is the second one. And then there is the third one, that's Wipeout 3 or Whip 3 Out. So yeah, just the music is amazing, Chemical Brothers and Prodigy, and it just sounds amazing, plays amazing. To be honest, I haven't really played these that much. I played the PlayStation 4 Wipeout Omega Collection. I highly recommend that one. But yeah, nice and shiny cover. There is the thick manual, there is the disc design, which is like futuristic and cool. and just this is one of the best looking covers. I mean, it's shiny, it's got all the different designs. You can see like they even released the soundtrack, and you can see like on in the second game there is like the Chemical Brothers, Prodigy, Daft Punk, bunch of just great music in there. And you can even have like a little blurb, although it's in German, so I shall see if there is English in there. But even if there is not, there is a little blurb about the band and the details about the game. And yeah, Wipeout is just a big classic. You can see it's like, this is the Piranha ship or race cart or whatever you call it. And then there is Wipeout 3, which is probably the best one on this console. I have a weird like Czech, Turkish, Russian release, but the game itself is in English, of course. You can see the advertisement for the memory card and the see-through DualShock. And it's, I mean, first of all, the disc, again, like what a great design. And it has like this really, it's not even glossy, it's like a really smooth finish. And then again, colorful, just big, crazy manual. And you know, it also one of the games that added the support for the Negicon, so that's also very cool. And of course, Wipeout 3, amazing music, just amazing visuals, although you cannot really see that in the box. But yeah, Psygnosis is just, they were a great developer for the PS1. And I think Wipeout is something that Sony should bring back or license out or something, because I think Omega Collection was amazing, especially in PlayStation VR. It is just, oh, it's such an amazing game. It's such a different experience. So sometimes I get dizzy from playing on the VR, but this time it was just absolutely amazing. And it's just you can feel the speed, you can feel the sound, the music, and yeah, this is also really cool games. These are also really cool games. Next one, it's the world's scariest police chases on PS1. I actually found this on a flea market one time, and I was like, this looks really funny. And I think it's like a TV show probably. There are like action scenes and kind of like races, and you can recreate them like car chases from the TV show. It's like made by Fox Interactive, just like the X-Files game we talked about earlier. So this is probably similar to that. This is a really low budget release, to be honest. So yeah, world's scariest police chases. And last but not least, my last game on my PlayStation collection is Yeah Tennis by Sunsoft. Sunsoft is a pretty cool company. They made just a lot of classic games from like the Batman NES games up until even this day. They are still kind of sort of making games. The studio is still creating, so that's good. It's an arcadey, cool little like management mode in some parts, so you can have your own career, but there are also these like cute characters. It's kind of like anime-esque, the game itself, but it also has a lot of different ones. And yeah, I played it with friends, and I would say it's a pretty easily accessible game. It's a tennis game, so it's not that complicated, but Sunsoft made it really fun and easily. It's like an easy to pick up, really good game, and it's fun with friends, and even the solo mode is pretty good. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about my extras, because I have some weird loose games that I just found for cheap for a couple of cents, and I just wanted to talk about them because they are some like fun games, like the Land Before Time Racing Adventure. This is like I actually tried to play it. It's not really good. It's very clunky. It's based on Land Before Time, which is a kids movie with dinosaurs. It's like an animated movie from the 90s. And yeah, TDK, you may know them from, creating VHS tapes and other media back in the day. It's like a chemical company. So they made Land Before Time racing adventures like dinosaurs running around. I don't know. It's not very good. And there is something that is really good. It's Tony Hawk's skateboarding. It's not even called Pro Skater. This is the first Tony Hawk game by Neversoft, 1999. Some great music, absolute classic. There isn't really that much to say. Something that I would want to say more about is Muppet Race Mania. I really like this game. I played it a lot with my friends because, yeah, we were into card games. I already talked about Crash Team Racing, and I like these cartoony card games. And this is fun. It has all the voices from the original Muppets, and you can choose the cards, and there is a ton of characters in there. The game is a bit difficult. The racing is fine, but the controls sometimes not that good, and the track design just. I don't know. So to make these games, you have to have like interesting characters. You have to have fun mechanics. You can have like weapons and whatnot. But I think the most important is to have really good tracks and dynamic gameplay. And I don't know. This game is just really, really clunky. Weirdly enough, it was made by Traveler Tales. And not long after this, they started making Lego games. And basically, every Lego game you play nowadays, up until the last couple of years, Traveler's Tales was the one who made all the Lego games. There is a classic RPG called Vandal Hearts. I don't know much about it. I should play this. It's like a Japanese RPG by Konami. So there is that. And again, these were like really cheap. Next one is Roswell Conspiracies, Alien Myths and Legends. So weirdly enough, on the camera, this shows up like this dark blue, but in actuality, this is like a almost purple ones. I picked this up because it looks weird. I think this is like a TV show, but like a kids TV show, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I still have to play this one because I have no idea really what it is. Next one is something I'm really happy that I have. It's, I don't know how well it shows. It's Xena, the warrior princess. So a lot of people don't know who Xena or Xena is. So there was this New Zealand TV show called Hercules. It had Kevin Sorbo. It's like, sword fighting and ancient mythology. And then there was this spin-off, Xena, which was arguably even more popular, and it was a big deal when I was a kid. At the end of the 90s, which makes me sound really old, but yeah, it's pretty fun. There are some well-known actors and actresses in there, like Lucy Lawless and Bruce Campbell was in it. And it's this like cheesy, funny, kind of cool, based on mythology. So it's like adventurous. They find treasures and meet like, I don't know, like mythological figures, and there is a bunch of like fighting in there. So as a kid, it was like pretty fun. You can see, pretty ladies fighting and winning at the end. So the next up is this weird box that I have finally, and I have some loose games in there. These are the more notable ones that I have loose. I have another copy of Crash Team Racing, which is, it's in rough shape, but it's good as like a backup copy. Actually, I did find this on the same day on the same flea market, so I was like, with the normal copy that I have the complete box copy of Crash Team Racing. So I found this one for like really cheap. So I was like, oh yeah, neat. I have a original copy of Crash Team Racing. That's cool. And then I went to the next vendor basically, and he had like a ton of PS1 games, and this was one of them. So, but the other one, and it was complete in box with a couple of other games that I also bought. So this game is pretty cool. I forget what its name. I think it's either no, it's not firebugs. Oh, it's roll cage. I think. Hmm. See, it's really good that it doesn't have any letters on it. I think it's called roll cage or something. I know how the game is played. So basically, there are these like they look like remote controlled cars, and back in the day they had like these remote control cars, or maybe they still have them where you can flip them over, and then they can go on the other side of the wheels as well. So they just sort of switch over, and it's the same principle within the game. Again, made by Psygnosis. They had so many games. Yeah, it's Roll Cage. It says it over there. Yeah, Roll Cage. Okay, now we know. And you can go on like walls and stuff. So yeah, it's a fine game. And finally, I can't believe I'm finishing this with the Simpsons wrestling game. Yeah, so I'm a huge Simpsons fan, or I used to be. I watched it until 20 something seasons, and I quote them, and I just love The Simpsons. This game is crap. Yeah, it's a wrestling game, which is for me it's an instant turn off. But the game itself is also it's way bad. It's a way too bad and unplayable for anyone. And I think this is a 2001 game. So at that time the PS2 was already out. So you can see like how crap it is. There is also the skateboarding game, which I heard is even worse or similar level of crapness. But yeah, Simpsons wrestling, I don't know, it's just not good. And so we are finished. These are all my PlayStation 1 games. You can see them over here. That's my American games, and then all the other ones. I just love the PS1. It was my first console. I had a lot of fun with it. And hopefully I can find some more games. It's getting difficult to find good games and just games in general for the PS1, especially in like good quality. I counted I have like 3 PlayStation 1s, so I actually have a lot of backups, so I can fix the consoles, I can play it. But yeah, PS1, it's one of my favorites of all time. Thanks for watching, thanks for staying until the end. Make sure you comment or like and subscribe if you like it. And next time we are going to start with the PS2. I want to change the format a little bit. There's gonna be more games at the same time presented, with hopefully shorter introductions with the games. But also I want to mix it up, and I will start it like parallel with the PS2 and PS3 and PS4, and then we'll see how it goes. So I hope you like this, and thanks for watching, and see you next time.